Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making millions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/hidden. Protect yourself now at aura.com/hidden.
Hey listeners, this is Peter and welcome back to the History Shorts. Today's episode is brought to you by the Podcast Republic, your ultimate listening app. Discover and subscribe to thousands of podcasts from around the world. Download Podcast Republic today, available on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Today on History Shorts. If you walk into a bookstore today, you'll still find them. Smaller, cheaper, easier to carry. But there was a time when paperback books were not just convenient. They were, revolutionary. They transformed reading from a luxury into something ordinary, a habit you could slip into a coat pocket, buy at a train station, or finish on a crowded bus ride. Yet, after decades of dominance, paperbacks seemed to fade, pushed aside by hardcovers, digital screens, and shifting publishing economics. Today is the story of the rise and reinvention of the paperback book. Our history brief today will return to some recent history news. A quick word from our sponsors.
Hey, it's Jay Shetty from On Purpose. Check out the best of a moment we did presented by eBay. Music has always been one of my teachers. There was a vinyl record I used to play during a quiet, very formative season of my life. Late nights, no distractions, just me, the music, and my thoughts. Over time, life changed, schedules filled up, and somewhere along the way, that record disappeared. I didn't notice right away, but I felt the absence of what it represented. So I searched for that same vinyl, same version, the same cover, and I found it on eBay. When it arrived, I couldn't wait to listen. And when I finally did, the music was the same, but I wasn't. I heard it differently. I understood it differently. And that's when it really hit me. Objects can evolve us. They can remind us of practices we want to return to, of values we don't want to lose, of versions of ourselves that still matter. That's what I love about eBay. It's not just about buying things. It is also a place where you can let go of items that are no longer serving you or that you no longer need. You can give items a new life, a new story with someone else. To listen to more, check out the full episode wherever you get your podcasts. Visit ebay.com to shop your favorite finds. Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay, things people love.
This day in history. On March 14th, 1879, Albert Einstein was born in Germany. His theories of relativity reshaped physics and fundamentally altered our understanding of space and time. On March 14th, 1967, the body of President John F. Kennedy was moved to a permanent gravesite at Arlington National Cemetery, reinforcing his legacy as a symbol of a generation cut short. Story of the day. Mass market paperbacks emerged in the 1930s with a simple but radical premise. Books should be inexpensive enough to reach everyone. Printed on cheaper paper and sold outside traditional bookstores, that was key, they appeared wherever people already shopped: gas stations, drugstores, malls, and newsstands. Their size, roughly 4 by 7 inches, made them easy to carry, easy to read, and easy to replace. Publishers quickly realized that accessibility could expand readership, far beyond elite literary circles. For many Americans, paperbacks were the first personal libraries. World War II transformed the paperbacks from a publishing experiment into a cultural institution. As millions of soldiers crossed oceans and continents, books had to change with them. Heavy hardcovers were impractical in a war zone. Paperbacks, lightweight, inexpensive, and disposable, fit perfectly into duffel bags and field packs. Armed services editions flooded the front lines, delivering literature directly to the troops. These small books became companions in barracks, trenches, and transport ships, read by flashlight in foxholes and passed from soldier to soldier across continents. For many servicemen, they were more than entertainment, they were reminders of home. Historians often credit wartime distribution with permanently reshaping American reading habits. When soldiers returned home, they brought a new expectation with them. Books should be portable, and books should be affordable, and books should belong to everyday life. The post war boom in paperback publishing mirrored the mobility of modern America. Commuters on trains, students on campuses, travelers in airports. Reading was no longer confined to the living room or the study, it moved with the reader. By the late 1960s, mass market paperbacks dominated publishing. Sales surged throughout the 1970s and 80s, reaching hundreds of millions of units annually. In 1979 alone, nearly 387 million paperbacks were sold, generating about $811 million, outpacing hardcover and trade paperback formats. Some titles exploded in popularity once released in paperback. Jacqueline Susan's Valley of the Dolls sold only a few hundred thousand hardcovers, but then millions of paperback copies within weeks. Movie tie ins like Jaws turned racks into cultural billboards. Colorful, sometimes sensational covers drew readers into genres that thrived in the format, mainly mystery, romance, horror, and science fiction. Industry veterans later argued that paperbacks did more than sell books. Well, they created new readers. Three forces powered the paperback boom. First, it was manufacturing. Publishers adapted printing methods from newspapers and magazines, allowing enormous print runs at very low costs. Second was the distribution. Networks of wholesalers delivered books to more than 100,000 retail outlets, far beyond your traditional bookstores. And third was reprint licensing. Hardcover titles found second lives as now affordable editions, extending a book's reach and profit. Together, these systems made paperbacks ubiquitous, a format defined not by exclusivity, but by access. Yet, that same forces that fueled the paperback's rise also made it vulnerable to change. As wholesale distribution networks consolidated, fewer outlets carried spinning racks filled with cheaper books. Digital technology accelerated this shift. Ebooks and audiobooks reshaped how readers consumed stories, while larger trade paperbacks began replacing smaller mass market editions on our bookshelf on the bookstore shelves. The numbers tell the story. Mass market paperback sales dropped dramatically from 131 million units in 2004 to just 21 million by 2024. In 2025, distributor Reader Link announced it would stop supporting the format altogether, a decision that many saw and still see because, it just happened as a turning point for the industry. Rising production costs made it difficult to keep prices low enough to sustain the format's original mission. Ironically, even as concerns about affordability grew, readers increasingly chose digital formats or higher quality trade editions. But the story is not simply one of disappearance. Trade paperbacks continue to thrive. Physical books remain central to independent bookstores. Physical books remain central to independent bookstores. And the paperback's legacy, the idea that reading should be accessible and portable, well, that's still here. It just migrated into new formats, likely on your phone. The History Brief. Today's history news is based on a recent article from the Smithsonian Magazine and brings us back more than 2,000 years, namely to the legendary campaigns of Carthaginian general Hannibal and a discovery that could finally give physical proof to one of antiquity's most famous military images: war elephants marching into battle. At an archaeological site in Spain, researchers uncovered a small cube shaped bone alongside ancient catapult ammunition and coins. According to a new study, the bone likely belonged to an elephant that lived between the 4th and 3rd centuries BCE, that same era as the Second Punic War, when Hannibal famously fought Rome. For centuries, historians have written about Hannibal's elephants, including the dramatic story of his march across the Alps. But archaeologists had never found any skeletal remains directly tied to that conflict. Lead researcher Rafael Martinez Sanchez described the discovery as potentially a landmark because, well, it may represent the first physical evidence linking elephant remains to this historical period of wartime in Europe. The bone itself was found buried beneath collapsed adobe walls, near an area of heavy stone projectiles used in ancient catapults. Radiocarbon testing suggests the animal died during the time frame of the Punic Wars, though scientists caution that DNA tests haven't yet confirmed whether it came from an African or Asian elephant, or whether it belonged to Hannibal's army specifically. Still, the timing is quite compelling. Historical accounts say that Hannibal's invading force included tens of thousands of soldiers, thousands of horses, and about 37 war elephants. Many of those animals were lost during brutal campaigns, leaving historians to wonder where their remains might actually be. Researchers emphasize that this bone probably didn't belong to one of the famous elephants that crossed the Alps, but they do say that it's the first elephant bone in Iberia tied to that exact chronology, offering a rare archaeological connection to a conflict that has long lived mostly in legend. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today and helping make this little show such a mighty success. If you are enjoying this show and would like to help with its production, you can always donate a few dollars at buymeacoffee.com or become a Patreon member to enjoy these episodes ad free. Both links can be found on our website at www.historyshortspodcast.com. And don't forget to check out my new YouTube series called 25 Events That Made America. Have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you all again tomorrow.